the games have
Hikaru
started.
Nakamura
Knight f3 from
plays
Hikaru
this
Nakamura. We had
knight
seen
to
him
a draw.
doing this knight f3, b3 a lot recently,
Get pawn down.
and especially in shorter time format.
King with constant mating threats here. So this is the Nimzo as an attack, the classical variation. So Hikaru, they are really blitzing out all the moves. Castles on the king side. H5 is pushed and pawn push to c4. The position is still equal. Brings his rook to c1 away from this bishop's attack. Knight e2. Pawn push prevents this knight from jumping in here and attacking the bishop. In case of this capture, we'll have this two weak backward pawns. So goes for the capture, recaptures with the pawn, and black got this double pawns and isolated pawns in the center where Hikaru's pawns are still connected. Queen comes up the board to d3, connecting both the rooks of Hikaru. And the c file is pretty open, and with Hikaru's rook already in it. a6, preventing the queen from coming into b5 and attacking the king. He brings his knight to e5, continues pushing of this pawn on the king side on the castle king. So looks like black won't castle at all. So knight c3 by Hikaru, and in this position black is slightly better, Alexey. In d6. So if the bishop captures, the pawn recaptures, and this pawn will be gone. So it will be down a pawn. So rook to d1. So brings the rook to d8. Knight a4. But the best move was to retrieve the knight here. So here you can go for the capture. This knight could also jump in to this outpost if this, to get rid of this knight. If this capture, rook can go up, double up the rook on the c file. He goes for the capture of the pawn, and the h pawn recaptures, bishop captures now, and this pawn is won by Alexey now. So Hikaru is now down by a pawn, and he brings his queen to d4, looking for a queen trade. So will Alexey go for that? Let's see. Yes, he goes for the queen trade. Rook recaptures. Hikaru need to bring his knight back into the game from the a file. King e7 and castle king double ups. and connect with the rook. So knight to b6 by Hikaru. The knight and the rook attacks this pawn. So rook comes to d6 attacking the knight, and it's a check. And after that, the pawn is recaptured, but retrieving the knight was the best move. And rook c6 by Alexey. Threatening check here, and Hikaru goes for the capture of the pawn. Bishop recaptures, and the bishop is captured. Rook c1 check is the right move. He brings the rook, and the bishop covers the check now. So this king is under constant threat from both these rooks on the h file and on the back rank as well. So pawn push to g4, and black is better now. Rook can come in. So rook b6 plus. King g5, that it's equals, and rook to b4 again gives the advantage to black. So idea is to capture the knight. So because this pawn was pinned, goes up to the pawn. This is a mistake actually. King g5 gives Hikaru the advantage. So pawn push, but it was best to unpin the king. Rook comes into d8. Both the players are pretty low on time, Alexey especially. Hikaru still got 30 seconds on the clock. Check again. King g7. There is no other option but to go for this draw. Yeah. So they agree to a draw finally.